pep talk time. Welcome to Kyera in My Pocket, where personal transformation gets intimate, raw, and uncensored. So do not say that I didn't warn you. I'm Kacey, founder of Liberate Her, an international best-selling author of Rich Bitch Money Goals, Becoming the Energetic Match to Wealth. I have coached thousands of women around the world using our 9 iconic rich bitch principles to change their lives, their businesses, and their bank accounts. So get ready for unfiltered stories, TMI moments, and the exact mindset and embodiment shifts that have helped me build a multi-7-figure empire. I am here to help you on your path to personal and professional success. So tune in, turn up, and let's fucking go. I got a pocket full of Kyera. Whoa. I couldn't help myself. Let's go. Okay, I am back from DC from my 20th Dr. Joe Dispenza event. And, per usual, the question comes up. First of all, I'm running on like 3 hours of sleep, okay? But I still got up this morning and I did my walking meditation. And we killed 2 birds with 1 stone because I got my 4-mile walk in and I got my meditation in. I do plan on doing another one later. But anyway, my point in sharing that is I don't care if I am running on 8 hours of sleep, although I couldn't tell you the last time that has happened, okay? My Dobermans are like children that have a 5 a.m. wake-up call, okay? Like if I'm not up by 5 a.m., they make sure that I get up, okay? So I got home very late from the airport and I went to bed late, got up super early, but I got everything in. So again, I'm sharing this with you because excuses are like buttholes. Everybody has one. And if you're going to change your life, you got to change your habits. And I'm tired cannot be the excuse that you allow to run your life. Okay. So if I can get my butt up on very little sleep, so can you. All right. So there's that. However, I always get the question, why so many events? And I'll touch on this briefly. I did do a YouTube video on this, but I'm definitely a very unique person. And when I find something that is life-changing for me, I tend to want to continue immersing myself in that world. And I will never forget when I was at my very first Dr. Joe Dispenza event. It was, God, I can never remember if it was January or February. It was one of those months. I'm going to find out, but it was in 2019. It was in Vancouver. It was at the JW in Vancouver. And of course, many of you know the story. My mom paid for the first one because I couldn't afford to go at the time. And so we're in Vancouver. It's winter. It's ass cold, snowing. I love the winter. So I'm totally good with this. But we're sitting on the rooftop of the JW. I'm in a hot tub and there's other women in there. It's the night before the event starts. And this woman says that she's attending her fourth event. And my mind was blown. I was like, how in the fuck does somebody have the means financially to attend 4 of these events? Like I couldn't wrap my head around that. And now it's like, my God, that's whatever. Like that's like nothing to me, but that's the process of change, right? So anyway, after going through my first event, it was so life-changing for me. I felt a level of self-love that was unmatched, a level of freedom that was unmatched. You name it, I was like in bliss. I'm like, if I die tomorrow, I'm actually okay because I have never felt so whole and so fucking good. And so I remember when I was leaving that event, I was like, I want to create the kind of life that allows me to go to as many events every year that I want. Like, I just want the availability, the financial means to be able to do what I want, when I want, where I want, how I want, right? If I want to go and stay in the presidential suite, I want to be able to do that. Like, I just had this moment of being like, if she can go to 4 events, I can do it too. And so when people are like, why so many? First of all, when you go to these events, you're learning about quantum physics, you're learning about epigenetics. And again, I'm not going to get that in one shot. Like, listen, I'm smart, okay, but I'm not a scientist. I'm not a mathematician. I am not any of those things. And so, like, I'm not going to get that in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots. Like that's that's going to take some practice. But I go back because for me, it's just a muscle that I want to continue to build is my ability to drop into heart coherence, my ability to change my brain states. That is a muscle that I want to continue to stretch. And so when I go to these week longs or the advanced follow-ups, I look at that like my school. I literally look at that as an opportunity for me to be in practice for myself. And anything that I do for myself is going to impact my work, impact my clients. And so there are times where I'm at an event and I'll be like, okay, today, what I want to practice is presence. And so every single person that I interact with, I don't care how hungry I am and how much I want to go to my room or take a nap. I don't care about myself. What I care about is my ability to be present beyond the cravings of my body that might say, take a nap, let's go eat. We don't want to have this conversation because we want to do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, I will expand my capacity to be present with somebody and give them my undivided attention. And I know that sounds weird, and it is weird because people don't practice this, but it's like, these are the things that I do. And with my line of work and always giving to other people and constantly being a source of output in terms of energy, information, transformation, I need that time for myself to go inward, to connect. And yeah, I do it every day by myself. I'll do it. I meditate every day. I do breath work every day. But there's something about intentional time away from your environment that is really life-changing. So it's one of the reasons I go back. Like I always say, if you're going to build a muscle, you don't go to the gym one time. Okay. You just don't. But I want to share this really cool story because I was like, okay, I want to bring several of my books and I just want to gift them to people. And so, first of all, can we just talk about the fact that my suitcase was 60 pounds? Like, it was so heavy that the lady literally put one of those orange like warning tags on it that said heavy, and then she wrote 60 pounds. And so I'm getting out of my taxi that took me from the airport to the Gaylord Hotel, and this man comes out and he's helping lift my bag out, and he's like, God damn. He's like, what do you have in this bag? And I'm like, listen, I got to be honest. Like, I don't know, but I did pack some Perriers. I packed some kombuchas. Why? I don't know why. I really don't know what I was thinking. I was packing the morning before I had to go to the airport, or the morning of, like the morning that I was leaving, I was still packing. And why I put several bottles of Perrier in my suitcase, I couldn't tell you. Okay. But it was very heavy. So anyway, I'm sitting in the Delta Lounge at the airport, at the Detroit Metro Airport. And all of a sudden I just have this intuition, like I'm sitting there texting, Jenny Bittner, and I have this intuition to pull out my book and just make it visible. Okay. Like for people walking by, like, here's my book. Okay. So I take out my book and I place it like in front of me on this table. And this woman immediately walks by. She works at the Delta Lounge. She walks by, she stops, and she looks at it. And I look at her, she's looking at the book. I pick up the book and I hand it to her. I take out my AirPods and I say, keep it. And she's looking at me like she was confused. And I was like, I'm the author. And she's like, oh my God. And she goes, this is so wild. I literally was looking for a new book to read for this weekend. And so she was super excited. It was fucking incredible. And she's like, and I want to start a business, like all these things. Okay. Like perfection. So this is always a reminder to listen to your intuition, because intuition was like, take the book out and just place it in front of you. And I could have been like, I don't want to do that, whatever. Okay. But I did it. So then I'm fly to DC and I'm going through the event and I've got these two books that I'm carrying around with me. I'm like, I just knew Spirit was going to direct me on who, what, when, where, how to give the book to, or just whatever. I knew that it would get in the hands of the right person. And because I didn't want to just leave it somewhere, unless of course I was guided to do that, but I genuinely wanted this book to be gifted to somebody that was an energetic match to receive it. And so that was the intention that I set. And so then I'm at the lunch table. It just kind of unfolds perfectly to give this book to this woman asks, like, what do you do? I'm an author, I'm a speaker, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, what book did you write? And I'm like, at this table, it's super loud. I'm like, Rich Bitch Money Goals. And she's like, what? I'm like, let me just give you the book. So I hand it to her And she's looking at it and she's like, this was so applicable to so many women I know in my life. So I'm like, keep it. Okay. So then it's the last day of the event. This was last night. And so I've got this final book with me and I'm like, who am I going to give this to? And I had this moment of being like, do I just leave it somewhere and trust? And I was like, no, no, no. Spirit was like, do not do that. Just trust. I'm like, okay. So I put the book in my backpack. I get to the DC airport, get on the plane, fly to Detroit. And now we've landed in Detroit. And I still had that thought, like, I still have this book. And I hear Spirit's like, just trust. I'm like, okay. So I get off the plane. I go use the restroom and then I'm going to go get my luggage and I'm going to leave. And I'm coming out of the restroom and there's this woman stops me and she's got on one of the t-shirts from the event. And she goes, were you just at the Dr. Joe event? And I said, yes, I was. And she goes, I saw you there, but I didn't want to stop you. I don't know. And then I just saw you coming out of the bathroom. I had to stop you. And so she and I start talking because I'm like, what number event is this for you? And she said it was my first event. And I'm like, well, how did you get to an advanced follow-up? Because you have to have attended the week long. And so she and I start talking and she's got two daughters that have gone through some similar, that are moving through, I should say, some things that I myself have navigated in my life and that I've overcome. So my specific addiction, which you can read about that in the book, but that was something that her daughters are navigating. And so instantly I said, you were the person that I have been waiting to gift this book to. So I pull it out of my backpack, I hand it to her, and she gets super emotional, super excited. Like it was just divine timing, divine intervention. Like when you know, you know. And so she and I start talking and I'm telling her, she's telling me about her daughters. And I'm like, listen, that very same addiction is the one that I had. I talk about it in this book. And so signs, synchronicities, the connections were all there. And this is the power of, number one, having an intention. So it's not like I just took this book to be like, I just want to pass my book out. The intention was, I want to gift this book to somebody that is an energetic match to receive it. And there's going to be a ripple effect of change. Okay. That's the idea. So that was the intention that I had. And there were definitely many moments where I'm like, okay, like we're now at the Detroit airport. Like I'm going to be getting in my car soon to go home. Who's getting this book? And Spirit's like, bitch, relax. Okay. Maybe they didn't say it like that. Okay. I said it like that. But that was what was coming through. And so when she and I were talking, I'm like, she's like, my daughters are here. They're going to pick me up. And I'm like, I want to meet your daughters. And so I go over and I meet them. And first of all, I just completely fell in love with them because I saw myself and I saw the younger version of me that had overcome so much to get to where I am today. And then I just had this knowing. So, obviously we've got Liberate Her Live. This is the live event that is happening in Nashville. And one of the taglines for this event is come one way, leave another. It is the promise of my work. You come into my world, you're going to come one way. And if you show up and you really do this work and you lean in, you can't not leave different. You just can't. Like, you just can't. And so we've got Liberate Her Live happening in Nashville in November. And during my walking meditation this morning, after having met those girls, I started having all of these connect the dots moments to my past that was like, highlighting every step that I've taken that is now leading to the bigger picture. And so, so many people come into my world. One of the number one things is they want to make more money. And typically what happens is they're in this place where they don't have what they want. They can see the end goal, which like, I don't know, maybe it's like $1 million year, $1 million months. They want freedom. They want to be able to travel. They want a new house. They want a new lover. They want all the things new, more confidence, more self-love. And so they can see that end goal, but in looking so far ahead, they become extremely overwhelmed because the reality is like to get from point A to your end destination, there's a lot of steps in between that you have to take. And so I always say, you got to take the first step. And the first step is never sexy. The first step is typically hard. The second step is typically harder. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and so on. And there's, what I find is that people have a lack of patience. I know I've been there. There's also an entitlement that things should come to us when the reality is we become initiated into our abundance and into our wealth. And I can tell you that from this journey of debt and divorce and depression to creating a multiple seven-figure business and really truly living life on my terms, but also having a life that is full of purpose and a life that I love, I've been initiated every step of the way. So you cannot look at my journey and think that it was easy. This is why I say, if you want my fucking success, you better want my goddamn initiations, because they have brought me to my knees time and time and time again. But the willingness that I have to get back up is rare. And I will say that it is, because just most people give up. It's not easy. If success were easy, everyone would do it, but it's not about ease, it's about possibility. And if it's possible for me to change my life, then you would have to tell me why you can't, right? So I had this moment this morning during my walking meditation where it was just like a connect the dots, total, every hair on my body was standing up. And I had this moment of like 15-year-old me moving to Ireland and the challenges that I went through when I lived there, the challenges that I moved through when I came back. I went to 5 different high schools. You think that was easy? Like, fuck no. But the addictions I overcame, the self-hate that I overcame, the sexual assault that I overcame, the self-hate, the relationships that were misaligned, the unworthiness, like all of that has led me to this work. And when I opened my office at 24, I actually had a lot of people, after they started coming to me, they were like, "Can I send you my child?" There was such an emphasis on parents wanting me to work with their children. And sometimes I did, but more times I didn't, because I didn't have the readiness for it. I wanted to, but I wasn't there yet. And there were so many things that I had to move through and overcome. And I actually feel a really big one was the divorces that I've gone through, because when I look back on those relationships, a question I often get is like, if you're so psychic, did you not see it coming? It's like, bitch, please. I know your ass could look back at a lot of things where you had red flags, discomfort in your body, and unhappiness in your stomach. You knew your ass was settling. It wasn't the 10 out of 10. Why did you do it? Because we're human. And so it's like, the teaching of my work is so much more profound and powerful because I have walked through what wasn't a 10 out of 10. I can now confidently tell you what is and what isn't. I can tell you the signs. I can go there with you. And there's no way that I would be able to do that or hold the power, the conviction, and the confidence that I do without the embodiment of having walked through the fire. Because if you're going to have a relationship that reflects love back to you, you got to choose yourself. And sometimes choosing yourself looks like recognizing a situation that you're in is not a 10 out of 10. It's not loving to you. And you have to go, nobody is going to choose me but me. And so all of these connect the dots moments were happening this morning. And one of the things that I am so committed to, I said to this woman last night, when I was meeting her daughters, and I fell in love with them because, again, I saw myself. I gave them a big hug. I said, listen, they're 18. I said, come to Liberate Her Live. Just come, just be in the room. I said, but you got to know what you're getting into, because I'm unconventional. And like, this is not your grandma's conference. Okay. Like, you got to know what you're getting into. And if you're good with that, come as my guest, be in the room. And so this morning I was like, I really want to have an event and a division of Liberate Her that is for teenagers, because it is such a fucking pivotal moment in their journey of life. And I know like how to create change for people in that age, like any age, of course I can, but I have a sweet spot for that age because it's, I was 17 when I started my journey in personal development, having attended my first in-person seminar at 17 and then just never stopping. And so I want to create a division and Liberate Her that is for our teenagers. And whether that is like 16 to, I don't know, 23, like, I don't know yet. And yeah, 18 and up can come to Liberate Her Live, and I invite that. But I want an emphasis and a room for these teenage girls to have an opportunity to choose their rich bitch life. The mission statement for Liberate Her is giving every woman the opportunity to choose her rich bitch life. And rich bitch, the rich bitch principles are a blueprint for change. And I always say AI didn't create these fucking principles because they're embodied. It's like I sat down and I said, what is everything I've done to change my life? It's one of the number one questions I get. How did you do it? Every single principle from Rich Bitch was applied at some point or another in my life to create the kind of change that had me go from debt to a multiple 7-figure business. And we all know money is a byproduct of who you become. So I think the message today for you is, number one, what is your intention that you're setting when you get up every day? Or are you just getting up numb on automatic pilot? Like you just get up and it's like, here we go again. Put on my socks, my shoes, get my coffee. Like, let's go to work. Let's scroll through social media. So many people tell me they want to change their life. And if I were to look at their habits, they'll spend more time scrolling social media than they will actually sitting down to take the C and bitch and consciously create their life. You can't tell me that you want to create change and then not put yourself in the rooms that are going to help you fucking get there. You just can't say that to me. So you have to ask yourself, what is the intention that I have when I get up in the morning? What am I actually doing about it? Because you have to know nobody's going to choose you but you. Nobody is going to make your dreams come true except for you. You've got to love yourself enough to start doing the things that have you get there. So what is the intention that you're setting for your day? Every single day, you should be setting an intention. And then are your actions in alignment with that intention? Because you can't say that you want freedom and then sit your ass on the couch all day and do nothing to create it. You can't do that. You can, but it's not going to get you there. So the other thing, and I will always have an emphasis on this because it is such a large part of my work, but your intuition is in constant communication with you. Now, whether or not you are available and present to hear it is another conversation. And so your intuition, just like mine was working with me all weekend, with the book, it's just a very simple example. But imagine if I would have taken that book and I would have been like, I don't trust that, like someone's not going to get it. Imagine if I would have just placed it somewhere and I would have missed the moment. I would have missed the magic of the moment that my intuition was guiding me toward had I not trusted, which is the T in bitch, trust. It's all about your intuition. You've got to trust your intuition. If I wouldn't have done that, that moment probably wouldn't have happened. Or if it did, it just wouldn't have been as impactful. It would have been something else. So when you're listening to your intuition based off an intention that you're setting and you're working with it and you're working to trust and you're working to surrender, magic unfolds the way it unfolded for that woman and I at the airport yesterday. So that is the message for today. Kyera in my pocket. I'm having so much fun with this. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will chat with you very soon. This pep talk was powered by Rich Bitch Money Goals, The Experience, our monthly membership designed to help you become the energetic match to wealth. Tap the link in the description to claim your seat and join the Rich Bitch community where the more we play, the more money we make.